What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some very interesting news. As undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin "The Dream" Haney, 27 wins, no losses, no draw, 15 wins by way of knockout. He is 23 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. He has already begun the promotions and already started fulfilling his obligation with his new promoter, legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter, Bob Arum, and ESPN. Okay? So Devin Haney, we know on Friday, has signed his contract to face off in a massive undisputed showdown against newly crowned, undefeated, unified lightweight world champion Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr., who is 20 wins, no losses, no draw, 10 wins by way of knockout, 28 years of age, 5'9" with a 69-inch arm reach. So with that said, in order to land this fight, Devin Haney had to agree to sign with a neutral. I want y'all to understand this. He had to agree to sign with a neutral promotional company and network to secure a fight with George Kambosos Jr. George Kambosos Jr. is not signed to top-ranked ESPN or Bob Arum. He's actually signed to Lou DiBella. So in order to get this fight, Devin Haney had to agree to sign the top-ranked ESPN and Bob Arum to make this fight happen and sign an extensive deal with them that would see him fight George Kambosos Jr. in Australia, the first fight, June 4th in the States, June 5th in Australia, and then have to rematch George Kambosos Jr. immediately should he beat George Kambosos Jr. in Australia again. And then on the back end of that, have to face an ESPN fighter in two-time Olympic gold medalist, three-division world champion, unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer Vasyl High-Tech Lomachenko, 16 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 11 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'6" with a 66-inch arm reach. So he will have to face him, and Lomachenko has confirmed this the other day when he took to social media and let the world know that he is definitely in play to fight the winner. Right? So this is what the deal included for Devin Haney. Now, Devin Haney has signed his portion. Now, keep in mind, George Kambosos Jr., this is contract as he's bragging and boasting about being the A side, and his promoter, Lou DiBella, who stated that Devin Haney was an email champion who didn't hold much weight, they are the A side. So they sent over the contract to Devin Haney, father, trainer, manager, and CEO of DHP, Devin Haney Promotions, Bill Haney, Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, who co-promotes with Bill Haney and DHP, and DAZN. They sent the contract over for them. So it came from them because they immediately jumped on the opportunity and the fact that Devin Haney stated that what was reported in the past, that Lomachenko had already agreed and signed a 2-fight deal to fight George Kambosos Jr. in Australia, and Devin Haney wanting to chase the legacy and the greatness, Devin Haney said he'll take the same exact deal Lomachenko took to make the fight happen for Undisputed. So when it was reported that Lomachenko decided that he was going to stay in the Ukraine, 10 toes down on the soil he's in, defending in Ukraine, his country, in the unfortunate chain of events and situations that's taken place between his country and Russia. Well, Lomachenko decided, I'm not coming back to fight. So that took him off the table. So ESPN, because Lou DiBella doesn't have a network, ESPN is the option for Lou DiBella. That's where he's seeking to get a deal and a network so he could put his fighters on that fight, not just George Kambosos Jr. He wants to keep an open relationship with ESPN, Bob Arum, and Top Rank because he doesn't have a network. And so ESPN, they told him, well, since Lomachenko's not involved, if you want us to still be involved, you have to only make the big fight with Devin Haney or we're not going to be involved. And so they had no choice but to send that contract to Devin Haney. So they stood on the opportunity that Devin Haney stated and Bill Haney that they would take the same deal that Lomachenko was offered. So they sent him the same deal allegedly, because we don't even know what Lomachenko was offered, and they had to see the contract from Vasyl Lomachenko and what he signed with his John Hancock on the contract. And as soon as they sent it to him, because they never wanted to fight Devin Haney, they gave Devin Haney 72 hours to sign that contract. And George Kambosos took to social media multiple times and said that he should have already signed immediately. It shouldn't take 3 days, because he stated that he would take the same deal that Lomachenko took. So all he should be doing is removing Lomachenko's name and inserting his name. And Devin Haney, he did that. He called George Kambosos and Lou DiBella's bluff. He signed a multi-fight deal with ESPN, Top Rank and Bob Arum. Now he's begun the promotion part, and he's begun his obligation to ESPN. He started promoting him as an ESPN fighter now. And guess what? George Kambosos Jr. has still yet to sign his portion of the contract, and now we are Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Devin Haney, he signed his portion on Friday, Saturday. On Friday, Saturday, he signed his portion. George Kambosos Jr. took this to do an interview and state that he needs to look over the contract. It's his contract. He wrote the contract up with his promoter, Lou DiBella. And George Kambosos saying that he wants to make sure there's no fake signatures on the contract. Well, how could there be fake signatures on the contract when it's a contract that came from you? You wrote the contract. So you trying to make sure that you didn't trick yourself? You said that this was a contract that was reported that Lomachenko already signed. So if Lomachenko already signed it, then you knew exactly what's in the contract. You know all the details in the contract. You wrote the contract. You like to tell the world that you're the A side. But in the same token, he says, I'm close to signing the contract. I got to finish looking it over. It's getting close. But in the same breath, he says, I'm waiting to see the contract. Well, how could you be getting close to signing a contract that you haven't even seen? And so to call your bluff, Devin Haney has went above and beyond to make sure he secures this fight. And now Devin Haney has already started fulfilling his obligations to Top Rank ESPN to go even further. So Devin Haney not only signed his portion of the contract, but now he's already beginning to promote himself as an ESPN fighter and promote this fight with George Kambosos Jr. And George Kambosos Jr. has still yet to sign his portion of the contract. And it's Wednesday. So he gave Devin Haney 3 days to sign the contract and said there was no reason for Devin Haney to take more than a day, actually, to sign the contract, because he already knew the details, because it was the same contract Lomachenko had. So it should have taken him even less time to sign the contract. And today's time, he says he's waiting for the contract to mull it over when he has lawyers. And in today's time, we have emails, fax machines, electronic signs. There's so many different ways, but it's still taking him 5 days. It's Wednesday. Devin Haney signed his part on Friday, Saturday. Now we are Wednesday, and George Kambosos Jr. still hasn't signed his contract. Devin Haney's so far in his contract that he's already started promoting and showing up to ESPN, taking pictures with ESPN, taking pictures at their studio, training at their studio, promoting the fight, taking pictures with the belt. And George Kambosos Jr. has still yet to even sign his portion of the contract that he wrote. Because Devin Haney has called his bluff and Lou DiBella's bluff when they said that he was an email champion and he didn't want to fight. Remember, Lou DiBella, he took to social media and said that Devin Haney was pricing himself out the fight. And they couldn't come up with a number to satisfy him. While all along knowing that their number one objective was to fight Lomachenko. Because Bob Arum, he told the world that the objective was always to fight Lomachenko. They had a handshake and an agreement in place. Why? Because Lou DiBella doesn't have a network and promotional company that he could take his fighters to showcase their talents. So what better way than go to the worldwide leader in sports in ESPN, the biggest sporting platform in the world? See, 2 days after George Kambosos shocked the world and beating Teofimo Lopez, former unified lightweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is a top-ranked fighter, 2-3 days later, he featured on the Boxing Voice, and he stated that Devin Haney was the email champion. They had no interest in fighting him. So if you had no interest in fighting him, you had no interest in doing honest deals with him and respectable deals. Thus the reason why Devin Haney took extensively less money to fight George Kambosos Jr. in this situation, and he's still yet to sign. So Devin Haney has already started fulfilling his obligation with ESPN Top Rank, and George Kambosos Jr. has still yet to sign the contract that he wrote up. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.